Hey everyone, Phil here from Support at Missive. If you've looked at rules already, maybe you've seen how powerful they can be at automating specific workflows in your company, like an SLA rule that triggers when it's been open in your support team inbox for too long, or maybe an auto-forwarding rule for every monthly invoice you get. The possibilities are just endless. In order to make your rules effective, it's important to understand what can trigger a rule. The first trigger is an incoming message. That's any email, SMS, WhatsApp message, Messenger, and so on that you receive in Missive. Now, here's something important for your incoming email rules. The email needs to land in your inbox on your email server for the rule to work. If you've set up filters in Gmail or Outlook that skip the inbox and send emails straight to folders or labels, those filters run first before Missive ever sees the message. So if an email skips your inbox before reaching Missive, it'll also skip your Missive incoming rules. Also, rules only apply to new messages that come in after you create the rule. They don't work retroactively on older conversations. And here's the key. The trigger happens the moment the message arrives. So if you edit a rule later to improve it, those changes won't apply to conversations where the rule already triggered. Never on past emails, only the new ones. For example, let's say you change the delay condition on this rule, delay, and previously this rule had 1 day, and you change it to 1 hour. It'll still be a 24-hour delay on those past emails. Only new emails get the new changes of your rules. Another quick example, if you change which label gets applied, previous conversations will keep the old label. They won't automatically switch to the new one. And if you're testing your incoming email rules to see how they trigger with each other, you can't do it by sending an email from yourself to yourself. Make sure to send your email from outside of Missive, using an email that isn't connected to your Missive account, like a personal @Gmail account instead of your business email. Otherwise, if you send an email from Missive to another email you have in Missive, it will count as an outgoing message, not an incoming message. Which brings us to our second trigger, outgoing messages. Basically anything you send from Missive. Here's the catch though. If you send it outside Missive by replying in Gmail, sending an SMS with another app, or entering an Instagram DM directly in Instagram, your outgoing rules in Missive won't trigger. If you play a bit with outgoing message rules, you'll quickly notice that they are great for creating auto follow-up sequences. So if you have, message content contains a specific sentence sent in your email, like this one here. Here's your quote. Please reply as soon as possible. I don't use that in other emails, just in my quote emails, right? Then I can create a schedule auto follow-up action like this so that it sends a specific CAN response after a day. Then after 3 days, it sends another CAN response. And in 7 days, last time I do this follow-up. So this sort of rule is a great way to just automate all your follow-ups you want to do in Missive. But watch out. If your conditions are too broad, you can create an infinite loop here. For example, if your condition is just from is present and your actions are this auto follow-up sequence, then the rule will trigger over and over because each automated message triggers the rule again. You'd have to disable the rule manually to stop it. And you know what Uncle Ben would say, with great power comes great responsibility. So here, be careful with your outgoing message rules. While we're here though, there's a cool action to prevent emails from being delivered. Prevent message delivery. This can be useful if you have an intern who should only draft emails from the team inbox, but never actually send those emails because someone else needs to review them. So prevent message delivery would be the action. Then the condition can be sender is that specific user. So whenever they send an email from Missive, you prevent that message, the triggered message, to be sent. And then you can type something if you need to tell them, hey, you're not supposed to send emails. Please report to your manager or something. But keep in mind that this only works with the message that triggered the outgoing rule, as I said. The third trigger is your user actions. If you're looking at your personal rules, you'll see that there's only one. New comment. That's because the other user actions only make sense in an organization context. For example, label changed only works with organization labels. Team change requires team to exist in your organization, and triggers related to a conversation state like open, closed, or assign only work with organization assignments. Now, here's a critical concept. Rules cannot trigger other rules. Let me explain. If you create an incoming email rule that adds a note, the rule is responsible for adding that note, not a real user. It's the rule that adds the note to the conversation. So you can't create a new comment rule based on that same text test and do certain actions with them, because this is based on a user doing it. Here's another example I see often. Someone creates a rule that applies a label, then expect their label change rule to trigger based on the changed label. But remember, label changed is a user action. It only works when a user manually applies or remove an organization label. If another rule applies the label, it won't trigger in any of your user action rules. These are just two common examples, but this applies to all user actions. When rules or the API do things, it's not the same as users doing those things. Now, incoming and outgoing messages work differently. The trigger is the message itself, being sent or received in Missive. So if the API triggers an outgoing message to be sent, the conditions of your outgoing message rules will be checked, like any other email sent from Missive. One last thing about triggers. Rules execute in the numerical order and then alphabetical order. If you need specific rules to run before others, you can rename them with prefixes like I did here, 01, 02, 03, or ABC to control the sequence. You see, if I change this and I put an A first, now you see it changed the order. The ordering is powerful when combined with the stop processing more rules action. If you add this action to a rule, all rules of the same type below won't trigger when that rule conditions are met. So if rule number 2 has stop processing more rules and its conditions are true, rule 3, 4, A, B, C won't trigger below it. They won't run. So that's it. I hope this clarifies how rules can trigger in Missive, and thanks so much for watching this deep dive. See you in the next one.